I want to thank the chairman of the subcommittee for including section 7057. 7057 is a pretty simple section. First one says you're not going to send money to the UNFPA. You know, many years the determination has been made by the State Department that UNFPA actually, although they didn't directly fund the coercive abortion policy in China, they funded the organization in China that conducted the coercive policy. And let's review what that policy did. From 1980 to 2016, China, of course, had a one-child policy. You were severely punished with fees and fines if you had a second child. So a lot of women had an abortion. Then in 2016, they realized that probably wasn't a good idea because actually children are not a bad thing. I think they're not a bad thing, but I guess in China they thought they were a bad thing, so they changed it to a two-child policy. And that wasn't enough either, so 2 years ago they changed it to a three-child policy. So the UNFPA was participating for 36 years with a policy in China that was subsequently found to be a bad policy because they, in fact, were funding an organization that had one child. So, look, the UNFPA has no credibility in my mind, and there are other countries. I remind you, we're at 144% of our debt to GDP ratio. There are other countries, G20 countries, who can fund the UNFPA. We don't have to be the one to do it. There are other countries in the world that can do it. And my taxpayers, there's only one thing they like less than public funding of abortion. That's public funding of abortions in foreign countries, which brings me up to the second part of section 757. That's all it does. 7057, second portion just says you can't send money to an institution that promotes or performs abortions. And it even has hide exceptions. It even says unless it's rape or incest. So this idea that somehow you get raped in a war and this 7057 restriction applies, it's just not true. I urge you to turn page 256 and read it with your own eyes. There's an absolute exception to the policy. So again, I thank the chair for doing this because we have to pick and choose where we're going to spend our money because there are other nations in the world who can do some of the things that we're doing. And I suggest that funding the UNFPA and funding organizations that promote or perform abortions overseas should be left to other countries in the world. I yield back.